So, hello and welcome to another episode of the Turn 5 podcast with myself, Nia, and Ben, where this week we'll be discussing the Formula 1, the Formula 2, and the final round of the Formula 3 action from the Italian Grand Prix weekend. We will, as always, kick it off with the Formula 1. Qualifying. I can't be asked for practice, so we're just going to skip straight to qualifying.
Yeah, no one cares about practice.
It's just Chris that cares about practice.
No one's gone to an F1 podcast and said,
"Let's talk about FP1." The only time free practice is relevant is when something happens to someone, i.e. Daniel breaks their hand.
When someone breaks their hand, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only time practice is ever relevant. Or if someone repeatedly bins it, like Checo. But, you know, because then we can just start saying, are they mudded? Yes. But no.
Having a gearbox.
Well, actually, that's the point. Checo did bin it on Friday. But also, okay, he bumped the barrier. But he also said, this is what I don't get about Checo. He also said that was one of his best Fridays.
Yeah, I don't know why he kept it pinned when he'd
gone wide.
Yeah, but you could see that he was going wide.
He's out of it.
Keep it, mate. Like, it's practice. There's no need, is there?
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Sure, you've ruined that lap in the next lap, but like,
better that than not be in the wall, you know.
Spinning off through the gravel, giving the wall a little love tap.
But yeah, I don't get it. It seems like whenever he crashes, he says he has a really good day, and it's like, what?
But
pretty sure he said the same in Hungary.
So
yeah, fair, but still weird. I don't know.
Maybe his biggest mistake is the fact that he keeps losing, which is why he'll win. Never. It's not true, but you know.
But yes, qualifying. Was a bit of a shock, I suppose. It was actually close, and it wasn't Max. Like, what? Ferrari actually went quickly at Monza. What? We say that like it's a shock after Sainz topped 2 of the 3 practice sessions. So
no one cares about practice.
Yeah, but even when Red Bull pumped in a fast lap and you're thinking, and Max was like 0.6 clear of the next guy, and you're thinking, okay, that's probably quite a representative time. And then Carlos is just like, yeah, have 400ths faster. So, you know, you start thinking, maybe.
Yeah. I always said that Ferrari chucked literally everything at this to try and win. Took fresh engines, set up the car, wholly for straight line speed.
Could you imagine how bad it would have been if that lock-up at the end had gone slightly differently?
Would have been so funny.
Would have been amazing. Yes, so Carlos Sainz on pole, ahead of Max. It was Charles P3?
Yeah, Charles P3. And then George Perez.
Yes, because it was going to be Albon P4, but then George ruined the party.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But Perez would have ruined that anyway, so.
Oh, yes, it's true. Yeah.
Fair play to George, though, putting a car in a place where it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
On the weekend as well. There's a thing with Lewis, right? He'd have a weekend like George did this weekend, and he'd finish 3rd or 2nd or whatever. George does it. There's 2 cars faster than him, and he's 5th. Poor bloke.
Yep.
Can't catch a break, can he?
No, he's still.
Other than Baku, actually, where he just takes out Verstappen.
Yeah, it's true. Just have a massive hole in your car, son. There you go.
Yeah.
But, so yes, the race, Carlos Sainz on pole. Clean first lap.
Got away well.
Everyone got away nicely.
Apart from Yuki.
Who didn't even make it to the grid.
Yeah. This was the other thing. So I had like the notification come up just past 10 past 2 or something like that, and I seen that it was a picture of Nico Rosberg, and that's all that I could see because I was at a car show, so I was watching the race when I get back. So all I knew going into watching it is the fact that 10 minutes in, there's a picture of Nico Rosberg. So I thought something happened 10 minutes in. So I sit there waiting. First 10 minutes, nothing's happened because Yuki's broke down, and it wasn't even lights out yet.
Yeah, they just had to go around again while they got rid of his car. Odd one, that. Breaking down on the formation lap. So
It's not happened often.
no. So I think the last time we sort of had it was when Perez's car just kind of gave up at Bahrain, but then he got it going again, so we just had to start from the pit lane. From the sounds of the onboards, Yuki's ones was significantly more terminal in its engine goneness.
I just remembered something we could talk about from practice, actually.
Oh no, what is it?
Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll. He couldn't drive the car Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Felipe was in the morning. He went in the FP2 and the car broke down.
Yeah, so Lance had basically no practice. I mean, Perez put it in. Perez had an oil leak on the Saturday practice as well, so it had to take a new power unit before quali. So that was a bit of a quick turnaround from the Red Bull team. But I mean, at this point, their mechanics are known for doing massive jobs in short spaces of time. So as much as the commentators were saying, "Oh, that's going to be a big job to get that one turned around," in my head, I'm going, "He's fine."
Gets turned around.
It's Red Bull. Their mechanics do things that I can't comprehend in time spaces. I shouldn't
Unless
be
they
possible.
purposely lie about how long it takes.
Well, no,
So
but
then-
like other teams do it, you know. Like other
So you've
teams do
seen-
the same jobs. So unless
So-
the packaging of the power unit is done in such a way that Red Bull can literally just rip everything out and chuck everything back in
Yeah,
with
it's
lightning
so weird,
speed, and the other teams just haven't designed theirs that way.
because they're like, "Oh, this is an hour job." 20 minutes later, it's
It's
done.
done.
It's like,
Yeah.
what shortcuts have you made to do that?
It might just be like it might just be down to the packaging and how they've got it sorted, because like, say you've got a component like right in the middle of the car and you have to take everything outside of that off to get to it, then that's where most
Takes
of the
it so
time is.
long.
Like the actual component change once you get to it is only like 5-10 minutes. But it's the getting to it and putting everything back again that takes the time. So unless Red Bull have like the most 200 IQ way of packaging their car, I don't see why their mechanics are able to just do jobs in like half the time it takes other mechanics. Except maybe
Adrian
Ferrari,
Newey.
because it's that Ferrari just never do anything in a reasonable time frame.
Yeah,
Like-
even when they crash it. Even when they crash at Monaco and completely destroy their gearbox, it's fine, isn't it?
There was a TikTok that I saw, and it was someone at the Dutch Grand Prix that was... I'm not quite sure where they were, but they were at the end of the pit lane looking down into it. And the caption was, "The difference between Ferrari and Red Bull." And Charles comes in for his pit stop, and there's no inters ready, so all the tyres come off. And then Perez comes in, has all of his tyres changed, and leaves, and Charles is still just sat there.
Yeah.
And it's just painful, but like, I mean, fair play to Red Bull. They do a fantastic job with these, like, tight pinch mechanical issues.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like that's something that they've sort of become known for, so it's less of a shock from them now. Like if Ferrari turned around and were like, "Yeah, Charles needs a new power unit at the end of FP3," and they had to get him out for quali, I'd be surprised if Ferrari got him out in time. So
They'll probably just send him out with the old one that's broken.
yeah, probably. Or they'd like
They'd bang it with a hammer. That was just try that.
give it a go, son.
Yeah.
Or they'd get like halfway through putting it back together and just put the cover on and be like, "That'll do." It's got like half the screws in it.
Fine.
Just all falls apart as he drives up.
There's a weird noise from the engine. Mechanic's like, what engine? Oh god. In terms of the race, it bit messy in places. Like they got away cleanly, but there was like little bumps and taps and all sorts.
Yeah,
going on.
it was very aggressive.
Yeah.
But I feel like you sort of have to be to overtake at Monza.
It's the nature of the corner, isn't it? You're overtaking into heavy braking zones,
especially into.
It's either done or it's not.
To overtake at turn 1, you either have to be on the inside, or even more, like
you have to be really far ahead.
Yeah. Otherwise,
you just get pushed
like, the person on the inside's just gonna sit on the first corner and be like, "Yeah, try and overtake me, squeeze you out, see you later."
Force you out over the big old orange curb on the inside.
But it's not even really forcing them out. It's just the line.
Yeah.
Because they're full locking or braking. You're not just gonna suddenly stop to give the other car space, are you?
No.
You may as well give them a free pass. Oh, sorry, you're alongside me. May as well. Here you go.
But I think it's just the nature of the corners, because like the two major overtaking opportunities are into turn 1 and into turn 4.
Unless you're Hamilton with no tyres, in which it's a Ascari, Parabolica.
Yeah.
That was funny to watch.
Those are those are overtaking opportunities, but they're just like they're rarer to see the moves into there. Like you'll often see cars shaping for a move into Ascari, but then sort of like bottle it. Like I'm pretty sure we saw Piastri go for a move into Ascari and then just kind of like got squeezed out. But like the heavy braking zones of the two chicanes are the big ones, but because they're heavy braking zones and they're chicanes, the moves are very sort of hit and miss. Like you can either get alongside or you get given a massive like hip and shoulder from the other guy, and it's just like, here's the gravel trap, son, get lost.
Unless you're Verstappen, in which you just keep your car there.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I'm having that. And you end up on top of the other car.
I mean, fair enough. You went for it.
Won in the championship, so you know who's the real winner.
True. I was trying to remember like what else happened. There was Hamilton and Piastri came together.
That was at the end, though.
Yeah, but Hamilton. I feel like that's not the first time Hamilton's made that move, or am I? No, Charles came across Hamilton. Yeah. That's what I'm remembering. Hamilton was involved in it, but he was on the receiving end last time. Which means you should think that he'd be aware of what's, having received it, you wouldn't dish it out. But hey, here we go.
It was just his line into the break, and I think he's just
drifted too far across.
Too much. Yeah. And then,
I mean, fair play. He went and apologised to Oscar afterwards, but
let's not give Oscar any points, has it? So
no.
And then to also other people saying that Lewis should get more of a penalty because Oscar's race is ruined, and Lewis obviously took him out and all. Lewis deserved that 5-second penalty, and only 5 seconds.
That is a 5-second penalty job. That's it, done.
Just because Oscar's race is ruined shouldn't mean you ruin Lewis's race. Just give him a penalty that he deserves and move on.
the whole race is ruined thing is then going back to the whole judging an incident on its outcome,
Yeah,
which the FIA say they don't do.
they do at times.
Yeah, they
Austria.
totally do at times, but on this time they actually didn't. So, because if they did, they would have been like, "Here's a cumulative time penalty for each lap
Enjoy
that
this.
you've completed because
Enjoy
he's
this
this much
20-second
slower."
penalty.
Who else got a penalty for a
Crashed out of the
collision?
race.
Sargent
That's what
received a time penalty for causing a collision. Who did
He was in the
Sargent hit?
points. I don't know, but I think it might have been Bottas actually, because I remember I seen Hamilton took out Oscar, so I was like, oh, what am I going to get excited about now? And I seen Sargent in 10th, so I was like, oh my god, this could be the day. And then Bottas overtook him, and then Sargent got a penalty, so
Gutted.
it might have been that.
And then both Russell and Piastri also got 5-second time penalties. Now, on the F1 website, it's incorrectly stated as for causing a collision, when actually it's for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Oscar overtook off circuit at turn 5, and George overtook off circuit at turn 2.
Yeah, George was on Ocon.
Yeah.
Coming out of the pits.
And Piastri was on Lawson.
Yeah, which we didn't see.
No.
So, in my mind, he
Unless
just
you're a
straight line.
Sky Q or Sky Glass customer, in which case you can ride on board with
Well,
all
that went
20
out,
drivers.
Lucas said.
It did. It's because it knew I was doing an ad, and it's
No, can't use that.
cannot-
censor it, censor it. Or unless you're lucky enough to be in one of those territories that has
F1 TV.
F1 TV available,
Yeah, and you get to see
and then
Will
you can
Buxton
yeah.
hit the mic with people. Not in my shop, mate. Get out.
Absolutely savage. I think my favourite comment on a TikTok from that was someone was literally just like on guard.
The guy looks so hurt as well. He's just loaded up.
So how can you be that oblivious to someone with a massive camera on their shoulder?
I would say
And-
I don't know, but it'd probably be me doing that.
Yeah.
And it's like, the difference is like, okay, there's going to be a load of cameras around, but some of them, like the Netflix cameras, aren't broadcast cameras, they're just recording cameras. So they don't have the antenna. Whereas that's a broadcast camera. that guy has an antenna on his camera. Like, come on. So, I don't know. The general public doing the general public things. I mean, what did you guys actually think of the race? It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was
good.
It was the expected result.
Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah.
We all knew Verstappen was going to win.
Yeah.
If you actually thought that Ferrari were going to win, then you're deluded.
Yeah.
Because it was either Red Bull being faster or Ferrari messing up the strategy.
To be fair, they didn't. They got third and fourth.
Yeah, they done very well on the strategy this week.
I mean,
You know, you have to credit them.
it doesn't sound great, you know. Oh yeah, we finished third and fourth from a qualifying position of first and third. But like,
Just
two of the faster
pace.
cars were behind you.
yeah,
So I think third and fourth was realistically the best Ferrari could have got.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
Unless something happened to Checo.
Yeah, unless he
10
he actually
seconds.
qualified quite well. So, but I say quite well. He was fifth.
Yeah,
That's quite good for him.
it's better than like the 9th that we've seen, so
Yeah,
it meant that he was not fighting his way through as much of the field, and meant that he was actually with the leading group and was able to
Ferrari-
actually make progress.
although yeah, even though when Perez overtook Charles. Charles was sticking with him.
So, I mean, we've touched on it. Max won 10 in a row.
Did he?
That's as much as it's repetition and hello camera, thank you. As much as it's kind of the expected and predictable, it's still an incredible achievement.
Yeah.
It feels weird that that's only just been broken. Yeah, broken.
Yeah.
Because you sort of just assume when there's an era of dominance that driver just wins all the time. Like, to think Lewis didn't win 10 races in a row over, like, was 6 years of dominance or something, maybe even more, is wild.
What is the most, like, how many races did he win in a row?
Honestly, no idea.
Vettel done it's probably 8, I reckon. Because Vettel done 9 in 2013, which was crazy.
Lewis Hamilton has only done 5.
Yeah.
5?
On 2 occasions.
Rosberg done more.
Most consecutive wins by an F1 driver. Here you go. So Max has Max has jumped into the lead on 10. Then it's Seb on 9. Alberto Ascari on 7, but technically has semi-technically has 9.
Joint third. Actually, they're all joint third. There's 3 of them: Ascari, Schumacher, and Rosberg.
Yeah, so the Ascari one is interesting because
that would be pretty much his whole season, surely.
Yeah, but back in those days, the Indy 500 was run as a Formula 1 round, but Ascari didn't enter it because none of the European drivers really went over and did the Indy 500. So in terms of...
He won every single race.
In terms of races that Ascari actually entered, Ascari did win 9 in a row. It's just because the Indy 500 was technically an official Formula 1 round that he doesn't have the 9 next to his name when it's wins in a row, which is an interesting one. Schumacher and Rosberg on 7 is quite like, because we all think of like 2000 to 2004 as like just Michael Schumacher. Schumacher, yeah. But it wasn't quite that simple, really, was it? Like, yes, he won the championships, but it was McLaren that were actually pushing them.
Yeah, you had Raikkonen coming in then.
So, I guess, just the occasional...
Before that, you would have had Coulthard and all.
Yeah, just the occasional victory just to sort of stop the runs, but still managed 7. And 6 on 2 occasions. 6 on over 2 years, sorry. Okay, so Schumacher is in 4th with 7, 6th with 6, and 10th with 5. So
20th as well.
Oh, is he?
A lot. Yeah, 20th.
Oh yeah, 20th with 4, 22nd.
48, 50, 51, 53, 55. That's it.
Well, there's a lot of Lewis Hamiltons here. He's 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st with 4s.
And 58, 60, 61, 63 with 3.
So, I mean, I guess that's sort of his teammates, really, isn't it? Like, you look at Lewis Hamilton's ones, 2014, that would have been against Rosberg. 2016, both of those are against Rosberg. 2018 and 2019. Vettel, Bottas, Max, all could have taken wins Ricciardo. At that point. Yeah. So, as much as there are eras of dominance, We are currently in an era of
Wasn't it?
dominance unlike any we have ever seen.
Yeah, it's a level above.
So,
Mostly, it just shows how far ahead Red Bull are.
it's that machine is an absolute monster, but Max makes it what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And like everyone says, "Oh, it's just a car." It's not. If it was just a car, Bottas would have won a world champion. Perez wouldn't be as
Yeah,
far
where's
behind
Perez?
as he is. Like Nico and Lewis actually made a decent go of it at the same time, and I feel like they're both sort of comparable on that level in that year. Bottas never quite managed to hit the same level.
Not
He was
just
he was
enough.
good in the car, and he had
Yeah.
his moments where he was pretty much nigh unbeatable.
Yeah, you seen that in 21, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like the last 4 races or whatever.
Yeah, once it was gone, that was it.
Yeah.
But was that because Bottas was unbeatable, or was that because Lewis just didn't need to bother?
I think it's because Lewis was unbeatable. No, Bottas was unbeatable.
So, but we're at a point where Max has taken this to another plane,
New extreme.
and we are staring down the face of potentially, like, what race out of the rest of the season is he not going to win?
Singapore.
You
Paris
reckon
won last
you
year.
reckon the next one?
No, I'm just trying to talk for him. So
Alright.
Singapore, Paris won it last year, but Max had issues, didn't he? As far as I remember.
Did he have
I don't-
damage?
I just remember him being in the mid pack.
I can't remember if
I
he
don't
had
know
damage
why.
or if he had something wrong with his brakes, like overheating issue or
Yeah.
something.
We have Suzuka, which Max won.
Yeah, but that was a bit of a weird race because of the weather.
Hmm.
Guitar, which I expect Max to win because predominantly newer track with the best car on the grids and the driver in form, that driver normally wins.
It's a MotoGP circuit. It's got a lot of sort of swooping corners and a lot of stopping. I feel like the Red Bull is pretty suited to that sort of circuit.
Then we have,
Kota,
Austin.
which he won.
yeah, which he's incredible at.
Mexico,
Which he's,
the Red Bull is just dominant at Mexico.
unless they just let Max
Brazil,
move over.
George won that last year.
Mercedes are good there, but I don't know. I feel like this time last year, Mercedes were closer to Red Bull than this time this year. And last year was awful for Mercedes, but
They did come on strong at the end of the year, but Red Bull did do the superior over winter improvements.
yeah.
And then we've got
Give me a-
Vegas,
Vegas, new track, but that's straight line speed, so
Red Bull.
that could be a Ferrari Red Bull battle again.
Yeah.
That'd be quite nice.
And then Abu Dhabi, which is
And then
Red
Abu
Bull.
Dhabi, no one cares about that. So we have Brazil and Singapore, maybe.
So Singapore maybe, Brazil potentially, and maybe Las Vegas. If Ferrari can get it right. That's a big if.
Very big if.
So, yeah.
But you could easily whack a fiver on Max to win every race to the end of the season.
And if he did, that would take the leading run to 18.
You could see
Literally
like,
double the record.
God.
you could see that happen though.
That would be
You
outrageous.
could. That is the thing.
I think the worst thing that could happen to this record is if Max DNFs from like a car issue.
Yeah.
I would rather just Max lose
Lost a
on
race
pace,
on pace, yeah.
yeah, than him just
Because that would actually
have his
mean
engine
that
conk out.
It would mean that
This-
the car
yes.
wasn't completely
Yeah.
infallible, you know, like the other teams were actually getting somewhere. But no, if it's just, oh, we had a sensor
The
failure,
engine's gone. Yeah, I'd be gutted for him.
mad. Right. So with that said, we've got, what is it? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rounds left now. We've got a week off before we go to Singapore.
Chris's favourite track.
Yeah.
Although it's changed now, so that might change. Yeah.
We've also, like, looking ahead, we've got 1 round left of the Formula 2 Championship, which is obviously the last round of the season. So Formula 2 are now back on their autumn holidays, having just come back from their summer holidays. And Formula 3 is done and dusted. So let's just run through the current standings, just because we can. The top 10, Max with 364, Perez with 219, Alonso with 170, Hamilton 164, Sainz 117, Leclerc 111, Russell 109, Norris 79, Stroll 47, and Gasly on 37.
Providing Max does win every race, when will he wrap up the championship? It's got to be soon.
Singapore.
So he can win it at the end of the Grand Prix in Qatar if he wins everything and takes all the fastest laps, and if Perez finishes second in everything, he's won it at the end of the race in Qatar. So not long.
So it's 3 races.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which would mean
So
we
need to
have
do 3 races.
1, 2, 3, 4. He'd have 5 rounds afterwards where he's just cruising.
Yeah, but he's still winning just to piss everyone else off.
Yep.
Respect it.
So, yeah, it's mad. So, that's not long, is it?
3 rounds.
But, I mean, that's just the domination it's been, isn't it? So,
Was it 6 weeks?
when's Qatar? Start of October, 6th to the 8th.
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah.
just 7 months.
Mad.
Where is it?
But yeah. So, that championship could be wrapped up quite soon. Formula 2. Speaking of
5 weeks' time.
Speaking of championships, Formula 2's championship has 1 round left. So there is, was it 2 points for pole and then 26 points, so that's 28, plus sprint race, which is 15, 30, I don't know, 34, something like that. Teo Pourchaire leads the championship now, after a bit of a disastrous weekend for Vesti. Vesti scored 10 in the sprint race, but then didn't finish the feature.
Yeah, he won the sprint race and spun out in the feature.
Did he win?
Well, he won.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you only get
Yeah,
10
and
points for
then-
a sprint race win.
Yeah. And then someone hit him and he spun. And hit the
Well,
wall.
he didn't get hit, he just got squeezed very hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
for which the other person was penalised. But, you know, that doesn't help Vesti at that point. So, Teo Pourchaire has a 24-point lead. Is that 20? Yeah, 24-point lead going into the final rounds. So he's almost there. It's very close.
Yeah.
Obviously, if Vesti has a really good weekend, Vesti can still do it.
Mhm.
I think Ayumu Owasa's out of range. He's
For the title, yes, but he could get
38.
second.
Yeah, he could definitely still get second, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's just out of range of the title.
Yeah.
So it's literally just Porsche needs Vesti to not finish something, and then he's won basically. Yeah, let's just go through the results real quick. Porsche dumped it on pole, so got pole position points. Sprint race, obviously reverse grid. Vesti managed to win that one ahead of Victor Martins and Richard Verschoor. And then the feature race was Ollie Behrman, Ayumu Owasa, and Teo Porsche in third. I feel like from Porsche, that was more of a quote unquote championship drive because he didn't defend the move from Iwasa as hard as he might have otherwise. I feel like because he knew Vesti was out, any points he gained is an advantage, and the difference between second and third, like 3 points, is not worth fighting the move any harder and risking not getting any points.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It's better playing it safe at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a
letting them
very, very calculated, very measured drive from Porsche there. But you know, he's sort of got one hand on the trophy now, and to be honest, he kind of needs to if he wants to prove himself. Because like he finished runner-up last year. At the start of the season, everyone's like, everyone else has gone. It's got to be his now.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's been pushed all of the way by Vesti. Vesti has led the championship for a while now.
Yeah, Porsche only just took it. No, last time. Obviously, last round before. So.
Yeah, from Spa.
It's close, and probably a lot closer than Porsche would have liked.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 rounds left, but that is all the way at the end of the season now, so this is probably the last of the Formula 2 you'll hear from us. Until then, unless we get some driver
Next time
news.
there's a round of F2, Verstappen's going to be a 3-time champion. Red Bull would have won the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah. Well,
Verstappen might
Max
still be on
Verstappen
the
will
win
have
streak.
won the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah.
Because he's on 364 points, and Mercedes are on 273.
There you go.
Madness. Formula 3, that's done and dusted. So the next time you hear about that will be start of next year when all of the driver lineups get announced.
2024.
So quali, obviously quali on the Friday. Ollie Goethe took pole position, which okay, so officially the pole position points aren't handed out until the Sunday, but because of what we already knew going into the round, the fact that Ollie Goethe was on pole and not Paul Aron or Pepe Marti or either of those two, it meant that Gabriel Bortoleto was champion because he could no longer be caught in terms of points. So all of the social media teams started throwing up the Formula 3 champion images on Friday evening. But he wasn't officially crowned until later. He got given the special F3 board when he got his podium at the sprint race. So when he pulled up into Parc Fermé, there was a P2 and a champions board. So yeah, he finished second in the sprint race behind Franco Colapinto and ahead of Mari Boyer. I think that was his first podium. And a double podium for MP, so that was a good result for them. And then even better for them was another race win in the feature race, courtesy of Johnny Edgar, who finished ahead of Zach O'Sullivan and Taylor Barnard.
which was a fully British podium, I think.
Yes,
Yeah. It was like the first time that's ever happened in Formula 3 or something.
that's quite
A
mad, actually.
fully podium of one nation.
Well, we have a lot of young talent, so.
Hmm.
But still, that's mad. All that said means that Gabriele Bortoleto won the championship quite comfortably in the end, on 164 points, and it meant that actually Paul Aron lost second. Zach O'Sullivan finished second on 119. Paul Aron third on 112. Pepe Marti dropped from third to fifth because Franco Colapinto overtook him to take 110 points. Pepe Marti only on 105. Dino Boganovic 96, Gabriella Mini 92, Ollie Goethe 73, Kaio Collet 73, and Taylor Barnard on 72 rounds out the top 10. So a good result for Barnard at the end there, managed to get him to sneak into the top 10. As for the teams, Prema took the championship, 327 points ahead of Trident Racing's 306. MP Motorsport 194, Campos 179, and Hightech Pulse 8 on 170. Oh my god, Roden Carlin had an absolute stinker of a year. They scored 2 points.
Oh my god.
And PHM Racing by Charouz only scored 6. Now, given the next lowest team is on 71 points, that's quite a gap.
Yeah.
For a spec series as well. That's what you got to remember. Like, it's all well and good saying, oh yeah, but Alpha Tauri's only on 3 points. Yeah, it's not a spec series. This is. So, Roden Carlin finishing the season on 2 points is absolutely shocking. Yikes. They're going to have to try and bounce back next year then. But obviously, we won't find out about that until probably next February, March, when they start announcing who they've picked. So I'm going to have to turn off the autofocus on my camera. I don't know why it turned back on. It's probably because I've moved. Yes, I've moved. Look, new location. Wow.
I guess you couldn't tell.
I thought it was just green screen.
Yeah, no, I don't have that tech. But yeah, we'll wait until next year for all of the driver lineups from that. I imagine we'd see some faces from Formula Regional, by Alpine, and Formula 4 making the step up.
There was talk of Kimi Antonelli, if that's how you pronounce his last name, either being bumped up to F3 or F2, which he's in F4 right now, which is a massive step up.
Well, I could say if he goes to F2, that would be huge.
I think it was F2 because everyone was saying it's such a big step up.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
No. Yeah, which it makes more sense in
terms of them saying it's a big step.
Yeah. But too soon.
Hey, if they can do it, they can do it, you know. If
he's got money, then...
I mean, this is one of those sink or swim sports, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, we've seen it happen before. I mean, Lance Stroll went from GP3
F3
to F1, so...
Yeah.
I mean, I know Daddy's Cash was a big sort of sponsor behind that, but, you know, he's still managed to do all right. He was good in the Williams. It's just since then it's been kind of mediocre.
Antonelli's 17. I thought he was younger.
Damn, he's practically ancient by Formula 3 standards. Formula 4 standards, sorry. I say that and he's like a decade younger than me.
He's born 2006.
Oh, Christ. Makes me sick.
I was born 96, oh my god.
I'm just the awkward bit in the middle between that.
Good old 2000.
2001 technically, but
2004.
Lol, youth. Sadness.
I kept making everyone feel old on the rally. because on the media team, everyone was like established and like doing this for decades, and then there's me, newly turned 19, just like, hi guys, how you doing?
There's always one.
Some of them were working in motorsport before I was born.
Oh my god. Some of them probably worked in motorsport and covered racers that have since retired and died of old age.
Yeah. Yeah. Considering people in rally go on for a lot longer than circuit racers.
I was going to say, because like
Yes.
Sainz's dad still does the
Yeah, and
Dakar and such, doesn't he?
Elvin Evans' dad, Elvin's WRC for Toyota. His dad was in the rally this weekend. He's like 64.
Oh my god.
His gearbox exploded on his mechanic. It was kind of funny.
I mean, if you got it, you got it, so...
Yeah.
Mad, though. I mean, even in Formula 1, it's sort of being proven that if you've got it, that age doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, I mean, Hamilton signed his... We didn't talk about that, did we?
Oh, yeah.
Hamilton and George have extended their contracts. Wow, we're so good at this, guys. Both
Like,
of, yeah.
in this tears.
Hamilton and George have extended their contracts to the end of 2025.
Because Mr. Mercedes isn't here, so
Yeah, that's a good point.
we don't care.
Yeah, no. But, I mean, like, Alonso and Hamilton are sort of proving that age doesn't really matter that much. I mean, to a lesser extent, Kimi proved it as well.
Yeah.
But Kimi just
He
didn't
doesn't
care. He was just there because. So, like, you can
I
say
feel like,
age doesn't matter, but I feel like drive does.
yeah, I feel like by the time a lot of them hit mid-30s, they've been racing since they were like 7 years old.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where like, can I do this anymore? That's where I think most of them get to.
I mean, for Seb,
Like,
it
do I
was
want-
just family. He wanted
Yeah,
to spend
exactly.
time,
Like,
which
they-
is respectable, you know?
Yeah, like they want to kind of move on with their lives. Again, they've been doing it since they were children.
Yeah.
So like Seb, they just want to move on
But, like, I mean,
and not like have to dedicate their entire life to it.
yeah, but still, like,
Yeah.
damn. Alonso's still going and he's 40 odd.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair play. But it's impressive, but it's when you've got so much talent coming through at a younger age, and then you've got people that are extending their careers for like to 20 odd years.
Yeah.
Like, we've got Alonso, who's now on the grid with people who were born after he made his Formula 1 debut. Which is crazy. But you can't really fault him for it because he's still pumping in the results. He's absolutely
he's
clowning
smashing
his
it.
teammate. So, will we see Daddy's Cash get fired by Daddy?
No.
Obviously not.
That would be amazing.
It would be funny. but
Sorry,
it's not gonna
son.
happen.
We have to let you go. Oh god. No, it won't happen. But imagine.
Oh, God,
just
no.
imagine. It's something I imagine when I'm having a bad day.
Stroll
Really-
getting sacked.
Really cheers me up. Yeah, by his own dad. So, but oh god.
Sure, cheers me up. Other people's lives becoming a misery.
The Conservative Party.
Yeah, you're right. Although that's not making poor people's lives even worse, is it? That's making a rich person's life even worse.
Was there any other news that we've missed, like the contract renewals?
I don't think so.
Today.
Oh yeah, Piastri and Norris came together at the Grand Prix as well, didn't they?
They hardly touched it. It was only just one big bang, and that was it. It was fine.
Well, Andrea Stella's not taking it lightly. They should never ever make contact. Oh, Christian Horner provided an update for Danny Ricciardo's recovery. He says that Singapore seems pretty much out of the question, and Japan is probably unlikely.
That was expected.
I mean, yeah. Which means we've got Liam Lawson for a little while longer. So now the question becomes, what's Liam Lawson going to do about the Super Formula Championship, where he's currently, what, second? And has a chance for the championship?
I think it was 8 points, I think.
So...
Might be 6. No, it's 8 points.
So it's an interesting one.
What's the calendar? 27th of October. There's 2 rounds left. Yeah.
Oh, there's 2 rounds left.
I think there's 2 races left.
Oh, right.
Same. They go to Suzuka on the 28th of October and 29th.
Oh, okay, that's the Mexico Grand Prix weekend.
Oh, so
there's a bit of time.
maybe. Yeah, you might do it.
Plenty of time.
Anything else we've missed?
Carlos Sainz got robbed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
$500,000. But then he chased them down and had them arrested.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a video of Carlos like hold on to his knees, like bent over,
Yeah,
panting.
he's out of breath, and then there's like
You can
people
see the
around him
officers.
celebrating that he got it back.
You can see the officers
So
arresting
weird.
the guy next to him.
There's just strangers high-fiving Carlos. We fucking got him, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest one. Other than that, I don't think there was much news.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, the F2 revealed their new car.
Oh god. I hate the rear wing.
What?
It looks
I
weird.
quite like it.
It does.
It looks weird, but it gives me very Super Formula vibe to it.
But the car generally looks more,
Yeah, if you ignore
Formula
the rear
One.
wing. Yeah.
which is good, because this is supposed to be like the stepping stone.
Yeah. If you ignore the rear wing, I like the rest of the car. But it's just, I can't ignore it.
It'll be interesting to see it in testing next year, that's for sure. And it'll prove a big... I think that'll help shake up the championship even more. Because obviously we'll probably have some returning faces in Formula 2. But it will give... But it will give the new guys a chance to just jump straight to it. Because it's just whoever gets the hang of the car first now. And which team gets best with the setups. But we will see.
It's only being raced for the next 3 years.
Well, yeah, so the
CEO
current...
said, I'm very proud to present our new F2 car, which will be raced for the next 3 years.
See, the current Formula 2 car wasn't supposed to have gone on as long as it did. Got introduced in 2018, but because of
That's when it changed to F2, wasn't it?
Yeah, but because
Yeah.
of COVID, it sort of got delayed. They were supposed to make updates to it, but they never quite came. It just became the tyre update. That was it. They've swapped to the low profile tyres. Now they've got the full new car, and I feel like as Formula 1 develops, because like the next 3 years, that'll put it in line with F1's engine reg change. So I feel like that's what they're going to sort of target.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just to sort of keep it in line with, it's the stepping stone. Here's the same sort of tech, but just a little bit less developed. Just to keep people... I mean, it gives them a better footing. Because currently it's very different. But that's due to the nature of how the cars generate the downforce. Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 4 is all air over, wings pushing down, whereas Formula 1's gone the other way and it's air under and ground effect. So it's a very different system when it comes to just the handling profile. So if the Formula 2 car moves more towards the Formula 1 end of things, then it will prove a better stepping stone. And maybe that will mean that when rookies get their chance, they're more competitive from the off. Rather than this... I mean, to be fair, Liam Lawson's stepped in and done very well, but he had already driven the car before, so he kind of had a rough idea. But at the same time, Nick de Vries did not manage to do so. And he had 10 races. But I feel like Liam Lawson stepping in has kind of shown up de Vries in a way. Because Lawson finished 11th in this last race. Beat Tsunoda in the race before, but I feel like that's more to do with Tsunoda's strategy mishap than anything.
Yeah.
Beat Tsunoda twice in a row.
Yeah.
Fair play to him.
So now it's kind of like everyone's saying, "Oh, it's harsh on de Vries," but like Lawson's come in and done it in 2 races,
Yeah.
So it might have been harsh, but maybe it was the right decision. But it's like, was it harsh to get rid of Daniel before the end of his contract? Probably, but Oscar has shown that maybe it was the right decision.
Yeah.
Why do you mean maybe? It
Okay,
just was
it
the right decision.
Yeah. And Liam Lawson is now ahead of Nick de Vries in the Drivers' Championship. So,
Poor Nick.
I mean, yeah, they're both still on 0 points, but, it's finishing position at that point. Right, I think that is actually all of the news this time.
I hope so. I'm very tired.
So am
Yeah.
I. And now I've got an hour of footage. So, yep. That wraps it up for this week. Thank you for listening and or watching. You will join us again next time, I hope, where we go through our predictions ahead of the return to Singapore and the new track layout. So until next time, thank you and goodbye.